Where you from? I'm from 103rd Street.
Right now, say fake.
Welcome to Boys in the Hood TV. Today we tapping into the streets of Watts, discussing the war between the Great Street Crips versus the Bounty Hunter Bloods. Centered in the Watts neighborhood of South Los Angeles, this beef has claimed countless lives on both sides. Formed in the early 1970s, Great Street and the Bounty Hunter both trace their roots to Watts public housing projects. The Great Street Crips coalesced around the Jordan Downs projects, while the Bounty Hunter Bloods, originally known as the Green Jackets, rose in the nearby Nickerson Gardens. The Grape Streets and Bounty Hunters controlling adjacent housing projects became bitter enemies. Early confrontations were relatively small, but as both gangs grew, their battles escalated from fistfights to gunfire, especially with the influx of crack cocaine and high-powered firearms in the 1980s. By the late 80s, gang violence in Watts was out of control. Los Angeles gang experts would later call the Grape Street versus Bounty Hunter feud the most violent and long-lasting feud in the area. But things started to heat up in the late 80s going into the 90s.
See, if you're a street person, you know when to go in there and when not to go in there. If your vibes tell you to go, you go. If your vibes tell you to lay back, hey man, you got to be cool. Because you go off in there against your vibes and they shut them down, you dead.
Veteran LAPD gang officers note that each project became virtually off limits to rivals. A bounty hunter entering Jordan Downs or a Grape Street member caught in Nickerson Gardens risked being killed on sight. By 1989, gang murder rates in Watts were astonishingly high. 25 homicides occurred that year just within the reporting districts covering the three main housing projects.
Many young black men are being killed in gang warfare. Those who avoid getting shot end up in jail. Today, 1 in 4 young black men are either in jail or under court supervision. Many expect to go to jail, according to Leon Watkins, who runs a South Central LA crisis hotline.
On April 28, 1992, rival gang representatives met at a Watts mosque and signed a truce modeled after an international peace treaty, symbolically pledging to end hostilities.
People done lost brothers, mothers, sisters, daughters, sons, everything over this, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's time for our people to come together. I'm a blood, and I love my blood, I love my homies. You know what I'm saying? These is Crips, they black. You know what I'm saying? It's time to come as one.
The treaty allowed members of each gang to socialize across project lines without fear. Longtime enemies shook hands, and for a time, the killing nearly stopped. The Truce also produced the first ever Bloods and Crips rap album called Bangin' on Wax, a collective of active sets. Although no one from Grape Street appeared on the album, Bounty Hunter's own little stretch appeared on multiple records, including the most popular track, Pyru Love. From the H to the 5, we peeling caps back. Because of this unity, we saw a change in Watts. Families could hold barbecues and parties that brought Jordan Downs, Nickerson, and Imperial Courts residents together peacefully. This ceasefire became famous after being coincidentally timed with the 1992 riots, and it was credited with helping reduce LA gang violence through the 1990s. And by the early 2000s, a new generation was coming of age with no memory of the '92 agreement. The peace treaty officially imploded by 2005, according to gang experts. A pivotal turning point came in early 2005 with the murder of a beloved bounty hunter known as Dwayne Sexy Wayne Brooks. On March 5, 2005, Brooks, 22, was shot and killed during a late-night gang confrontation near a Gardena skating rink. He was a popular bounty hunter, and street rumors immediately blamed a Great Street Crip for his killing. This incident ignited the feud anew, and in a surprising twist, it forged new alliances. Outraged by Sexy Wayne's death, the Bounty Hunter Bloods allied with the PJ Watts Crips from Imperial Courts against their common enemy, Grape Street. A string of tit-for-tat violence rocked Watts in spring 2005. 1 week later, a 19-year-old innocent man, Jason Harrison, was gunned down inside Jordan Downs, likely targeted just for being in Grape Street territory. By mid-2000s, the feud had truly been reignited, undoing much of the peace of the 1990s. The Great Street Crips found themselves effectively fighting a two-front war, facing Bloods from Nickerson on one side and Crips from Imperial on the other. Notably, The Hacienda Village Bloods of the smaller Gonzacque Village project also shared a common hatred of Grape Street, creating an unofficial blood Crips ceasefire between Hacienda and PJ Crips as well. By 2011, however, community intervention programs and increased policing began to curb the bloodshed. After nearly 2 years without a killing in the projects, gunfire erupted before dawn at Imperial Courts. Floyd Vidot was standing with friends at an outdoor playground when assailants approached and shot him multiple times. Vidot died at the scene. Investigators soon linked the shooter to the bounty hunter Bloods. In fact, Bobby G.K. Porky Watts, a 27-year-old bounty hunter, was later convicted of Vidot's murder. Surveillance footage showed Watts' vehicle circling Imperial Courts just before the killing.
It's young Roscoe with a snot nose. Look, catch me on the corner with the Mexicans with a...
In the early hours of August 11, Damian Fredericks Hubbard, a 23-year-old reputed bounty hunter, nicknamed Roscoe, was walking through Nickerson Gardens when a dark vehicle rolled up. Multiple shooters jumped out and opened fire, hitting Roscoe fatally at 4:30 a.m. He died in the hospital shortly after. This drive-by occurred on bounty hunter turf, suggesting it was retaliation, likely by Grape Street or their allies, for the Imperial Court shooting. The timing was striking. Roscoe's killing came just weeks after Floyd Vidot's, escalating fears of tit-for-tat payback. Yet, in the immediate aftermath, no reprisal came from the bounty hunters. LAPD Captain Philip Tingurides later walked through Nickerson Gardens and thanked some hardcore bounty hunter members for not jumping back and wasting more lives in response. Watts was rocked by 2 coordinated murders only minutes apart. The first victim was Kevin Flipside White, age 44, a legend in Nickerson Gardens. Flipside was not only a respected triple OG in the bounty hunter Bloods, he was also a former rap artist who had recorded on Death Row Records in the 1990s with the group OFTB. Around 7:25 p.m., Flipside was chatting with a young woman in the front yard of his childhood home near 114th Street and Success Ave in Nickerson. At least 2 gunmen leapt out and opened fire with multiple rounds, hitting White repeatedly. Gravely wounded, Flipside was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 9:30 p.m. The suspects fled, but the violence was not over. It was about to claim another life moments later. Only 10 minutes after Flipside was gunned down, gunfire erupted a few blocks east in the Imperial Courts projects. The victim this time was Marquise Delshawn Brighter, a 29-year-old affiliated with the P.J. Watts Crips. Brighter was walking near the Imperial Courts gym when a minivan, matching the description from Flipside's shooting, pulled up and 2 shooters jumped out firing. Marquise tried to run, but the gunman caught up and shot him multiple times on the ground, killing him instantly. The back-to-back timing and method of these 2 murders made it clear they were coordinated. Detectives believed the same crew of Great Street Crips from Jordan Downs committed both killings as a single mission of revenge. Kevin Dion Phillips, 26, identified as a Grape Street member, was charged with 2 counts of murder for White and Brighter's deaths, with gang special circumstance allegations. The other suspects remain under investigation. Phillips was accused of being one of the triggermen who assassinated Flipside and Chicken. These murders, the killing of a famous Nickerson Gardens rapper, and the rapid reprisal against an Imperial Courts Crip, sent shockwaves through Watts. Flipside's funeral, held at Macedonia Baptist Church in Nickerson Gardens, became a pivotal moment. Hundreds of mourners, including many bounty hunter Bloods, hard hitters, and triple OGs, gathered not to plot revenge, but to urge restraint. Revered elders like Ronald Cartoon Antwine, a founder of the Bounty Hunters, took the pulpit and implored younger members not to grab their Glocks and seek payback. On March 27, 2019, Denzel Poppy Gordon, 21, was shot and killed in the Jordan Downs housing development, heart of Grape Street territory. This happened around dusk on 101st Street. Gordon was reported to be a Grape Street affiliate, and word spread that bounty hunters might have orchestrated his murder. Then on March 28, 2019, the very next day, a man was killed near Nickerson Gardens, just outside bounty hunter turf. Police weren't sure if this second homicide was a domestic dispute or retaliation for Gordon's death, but many feared it was the start of tit-for-tat paybacks. 2 days later on Saturday, friends of Denzel Gordon held a memorial car wash and vigil in Watts. Within hours, gunfire erupted at Nickerson Gardens. A 23-year-old bounty hunter was shot dead in front of the project's entrance. Just 1 day later on Sunday, 2 Grape Street Crips were shot and wounded back at Jordan Downs. Though the Crip victims survived, the message was clear. Neither side will let the other's attack go unanswered. Over just 5 days, Watts has suffered multiple shootings and at least 3 homicides directly tied to the feud. In 2021, at least 4 of 8 homicides in Nickerson Gardens were the result of internal disputes among bounty hunters themselves. That said, the feud still simmers under the surface. Watts residents today are keenly aware of the thin line between peace and war.